What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and we come to you guys with a very exciting report that Liverpool are preparing a contract for Frank Kessié, the midfield powerhouse from AC Milan. He only has left 1 year on his contract and Liverpool are offering him £112,000 per week after his contract currently at AC Milan is only £36,000. So we are prepared to triple his wages at Liverpool, and this is a huge news reported by Gazzetta dello Sport and Corriere dello Sport as well, that Liverpool are very keen on the midfielder and we would like to sign him this summer, but we are also willing to wait to see how the negotiations between AC Milan and Kessié are going to go. So if you are excited about this, leave a like. I'm on holiday currently, but I'm still recording videos for you guys so you get informed on the latest and greatest Liverpool transfer news updates. So if you appreciate that fact, please let me know by liking this video. The article states that Liverpool are readying a £115,000 per week contract for Kessié, which is a huge upgrade on his current £36,000 per week contract. Liverpool are really hoping that they could pull it off, because Kessié right now is also negotiating with AC Milan on a contract, but AC Milan right now are only prepared to give him 6 million euros per year, and Liverpool's offer is for 7 million euros per year contract. So Liverpool could blow AC Milan out of the water with a much better contract offer. The problem is that Kessié really likes to play for AC Milan, and if he doesn't have to, he probably doesn't really want to leave AC Milan, but a big contract at Liverpool and also playing for Liverpool, challenging for trophies, would be a big lure. Who doesn't want to play for Jurgen Klopp right now? He is one of the most likable and one of the most charismatic and energetic managers in the world right now. And of course, Kessié is not a boyhood AC Milan fan or anything like that. He joined on loan from Atalanta in 2017 before agreeing a permanent move for a fee which was for £21 million. So Liverpool could sign him for a cut price deal. Right now he's probably worth around 40-45 million, but because he only has 1 year left on his contract, Liverpool could get him for a cut price deal of just 25-35 million pounds, something that would be absolutely brilliant for Liverpool, because Kessié in a normal market is worth at least 40-45 million. And Kessié is a full-on high-energy midfielder suited for the fast-paced, heavy metal football that Jurgen Klopp is deploying and playing at Liverpool. And Kessié is also a very reliable player when it comes to injuries and playing time, because last season he played 50 games for AC Milan, scoring 14 goals, and the previous years the least amount of games was for Atalanta. In 2016-17 he played 31 games, but since then he played 54 games for AC Milan, then 42, then 38, then 50 again. And he also scored 30 goals in total in his career so far, and he's still a pretty young player. He's only 24 years old, so he's about to hit his prime, and I think this would be a really terrific and fantastic signing. Liverpool would be foolish not to pursue this deal when AC Milan couldn't agree a contract so far with Kessié. He only has 1 year left on his contract, so Liverpool would be pretty dumb not to move for Kessié, not to be interested in him, because with 1 year left on his contract, if AC Milan can't give him the proper wages, Kessié won't agree a new contract. He knows what he's worth. He knows a midfielder like him should be getting at least £110,000 per week in today's modern football. So if he doesn't get that at AC Milan, and Italian football was hit really hard by the pandemic, so AC Milan have to be very careful with how they spend their money, and they probably won't be able to afford to pay AC Milan, to pay Kessié the wages that he's after, and that's when Liverpool could swoop in and get him, because I think Kessié wants to get paid what he's worth. It's all about the money these days with these players, and I think Liverpool can give him much higher wages than what AC Milan are giving him. I mean, €1 million more per year is a significant amount of money even for a player like Kessié. And Kessié is wearing the number 79 on his shirt, and I have a funny story about that. So originally he chose the number 19 as his shirt number, but soon after he was persuaded by the club's management to leave that number to Leonardo Bonucci, who signed for AC Milan previously, very recently, and then of course 1 year later he went back to Juventus. But as a result, Bonucci got the number 19 and Kessié got the number 79. And after Bonucci went back to Juventus, Kessié was offered his original shirt number back, but yet he refused to take it, because he said he does not want to force AC Milan fans to spend any extra money on his personalized shirt due to yet another number change. So that would have been 2 number changes in 2 years for Kessié, and he thought about the fans, and he didn't want the fans to spend any extra money on this shirt number. So that shows you what kind of character Kessié is, and he's a very decent, humble person, and I think because of that as well he would fit in pretty well at Liverpool. And also what is interesting is that Kessié was only 11 years old when his father, who used to be a professional footballer in his youth before enlisting into the Ivorian army, died due to an illness. Therefore one of his goal celebrations is a military salute performed in order to pay tribute to his late father. So that is also shows that Kessié is a very good guy. And Kessié played the full 90 minutes in Ivory Coast's knockout stage game. In the quarterfinals they played Spain, and Spain also had quite a lot of players who were also playing at the Euros, and Ivory Coast thought they got the winner after scoring in the 91st minute in stoppage time to make it 2-1. And then Spain in the 92nd minute brings on Rafa Mir. He equalizes in the 93rd minute, and then extra time he scored 2 more goals to seal a 5-2 extra time win, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, Ivory Coast were leading Spain 2-1 in the 92nd minute, and then Spain eventually win 5-2 in extra time, and that is absolutely staggering. And Spain are into the semi-finals at the Olympic Games. But Kessié played the full 120 minutes, and I watched some of the game and he was pretty good. Ivory Coast were this close to winning the game and sealing an absolutely amazing knockout stage win against Spain, but in the end Spain just proved too strong. So Ivory Coast are out, and Kessié will go back to AC Milan, sit down with AC Milan and see what kind of contract negotiations will be happening. And I think if Liverpool can offer him a bigger contract than what AC Milan are offering, there is a good chance that Liverpool could end up signing him. And Jose Enrique also gave a pretty scathing criticism of the current Liverpool owners. He said, "I am concerned with Liverpool's lack of business in the transfer window so far. The problem with the owners, the FSG, is that we have had to sell before to buying players in the past as well, and that seems to still be the case. The only reason Liverpool have players like Alisson and Van Dijk is because we sold Philippe Coutinho for £142 million to Barcelona. Without that, we wouldn't have these players and probably the titles that those players helped us win. I believe the signing of Konate was great and was for the right money, but sometimes you have to go out and spend the big money on the big players. Before Alisson and Van Dijk arrived, we were contenders to win titles, and after they signed, we actually won those titles. So these kind of players are needed. Why can Manchester United go to Real Madrid and sign one of their best players in Rafael Varane and we can't? Well, probably the owners are a little bit tight when it comes to money. I think Liverpool should spend enough money to sign at least 2 £40 million players, 1 midfielder and 1 attacker, and I think either Kessié, Saúl Ñíguez or Renato Sanchez could be a much needed help, much needed boost for Liverpool. Imagine if we sign a midfielder who can score 5 to 10 goals every season for Liverpool in midfield, and also we should sign Lautaro Martinez, who could be available for 50-55 million pounds. That would be a long-term replacement for Bobby Firmino, and I think Liverpool need to spend money if we want to keep competing for titles and trophies. Otherwise, the teams around us will just go past us as our squad starts to age. I think Liverpool are not sitting on their hands. We are looking for the right kind of players, for the right kind of deal to come about. But if we wait too long, those players could be signed by somebody else. Saúl Ñíguez could be signed by Man United, and other players could be signed by other clubs. So Liverpool need to sign somebody, in my opinion, who we are linked with and who is good enough for the Liverpool first team, and I think that the right deal will come about. We just have to be patient as fans, but I can understand your sentiments as well, your feelings that it can get quite frustrating waiting for Liverpool to sign the right player, but sooner or later we will do so. I mean, Jota and Thiago they were signed 24 hours apart, pretty late in the last summer transfer window, so maybe Liverpool will pull off some really good transfer deals pretty late in this transfer window as well. At least that's my hope. And Jurgen Klopp has also provided a very encouraging update on the progress of Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk when it comes to recovering from their long-term injuries. He said, "I want to make it really clear, we push nothing with these kind of players, we just don't. We wait a little bit, the players come. We have now with Dr. Andreas Schlumberger, a real specialist who is in constant talks and always observing everything with these players. We know exactly how they feel, how they really feel, and not what they tell us, because they are desperate to play again. It looks good. This morning it was a normal training session. Sometimes in moments we swap Virgil and Joe a little bit, so maybe the intensity doesn't get too high, but in general it looks really good. How many minutes on Thursday, I don't know, but there will be some minutes for sure for these players, and with every game these players gain fitness and also match sharpness, and that will bode really well for the future. But even if Gomez and Van Dijk doesn't start the first game for Liverpool, there is no need to panic. We have Konate, we have Matip, we have Nat Phillips, so we have enough cover in the centre-back positions so to be able to not rush these players back too soon. Kevin Phillips has also questioned Liverpool's lack of financial flexibility. He said, "You would think that winning trophies would give Liverpool the money. They have won the Premier League, the Champions League. They should not be worrying about wheeling and dealing and selling players to buy players. It shows the times we are all in. But that deal for Shaqiri, it's time for him to move on. He has been a bit part player for quite some time, for like 2 seasons. So a fee of around 15 million takes care of players' wages for a few years too. And Liverpool are in talks with various clubs for the sale of Xherdan Shaqiri. So once that deal goes through, I think Liverpool will start looking to buy some players in the transfer market. And let me know what do you think about all the topics that we discussed in today's video. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.